And for those who still want to hear him more, we are doing his workshop on PowerPoint tomorrow at the Institute Arsingi Hall for 3 hours, but it's limited to only 40 seats, so you can connect with Nitesh more for the registration if any. Thank you so much, Rishabh. I request Sonu to please call the next speaker. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rishabh for the wonderful shortcuts in Excel and Power Pivot. How we can manage billions and millions data with the help of Power Pivot, we learn from you. So, for giving as a token of honor, memento, I would request CA Vivek ji, please come up on the dais and offer a memento to the great speakers, CA Mr. Pugaiya ji. Thank you. Please give a big round of applause for CA Rishabh.
Also, I request CCH Gyaninder Singh to come forward and offer a book to Rishabh.
Now, I would like to request CA Anil Bhandari, please come up on the dais for the session discussion on the topic, how technology can kill your practice. For the topic is very mysterious. See what is going on, how the technology can kill our practice. We all are here from Mr. S. Bhandari. Please come up on the dais. And for giving bouquet to Mr. Bhandari ji, I would request CA Sitaram ji Agarwal, please come up on the dais and offer a welcome bouquet to CA Anil S. Bhandari. Though we all want to increase our practice, but he learned us how to kill our practice. So give a big round of applause for welcoming CA Anil S. Bhandari. Over to you, sir.
A minute I will take, not even a minute, 30 seconds. Like we all know him, he is a vice chairman of Digital Transformation and Process Engineering Committee. So we have a lot of expectations from him, how he can transform our institute into a digital world. Thank you so much, Anil ji. A big round of applause for it.
संजीव जी ने काम पहले ही दे दिया मुझे, so thank you so much. So a very good afternoon, Kolkata. The only thing that we know in Mumbai is, the famous movie which says that Kami Tomachi Balawashi. So thank you, EIRC. I think it's a wonderful job and you've already achieved success even before the conference started. So congratulations to the entire team, and thank you Sanjeev. I don't know what he saw in me. Normally these kind of speeches are given by people who have a lot of grey hair, a lot of experience, so I don't know what made him invite me here, but this is a perspective that I am not carrying from today, but this is a perspective that I have started to maybe dwell on my mind from the last 3 or 4 years, and I take this very, very seriously. And I'm sure it's not new to you, and what I'm going to speak to you about in the next 30 to 40 minutes is also not going to be new to you as well. But this is an area that I think we all need to focus on, and we need to go back and introspect. And what I'm going to say next, none of you will like. Somebody said here the topic is, will technology kill your practice? I'm saying the larger issue is, auditing and accounting is a dying profession. I'm not sure, well, the intention is not to ask you to pay money, come here, and then tell you that you may not have work tomorrow or no jobs tomorrow. That's not the intention. But let me try and explain this to you, and why am I saying this? Auditors have always been under stress. I'm not sure whether you felt it, but I have always felt it. The auditors, somewhere or the other, has always been under stress. If we do a good job, we most of the time not paid well. But if you do a bad job, one of us does a bad job, the entire community is taken to task, entire community. We had Bank of Baroda recently. I went to meet the managing director. We wanted to make sure that somehow we are able to stop that tender business. But somewhere or the other, quality keeps cropping in for just one person. I said, is 99% of the chartered accountants bad or 1% of the chartered accountants bad? Why are we, even discussing quality here? But anyway, if just one person also does a bad job, I think the blame comes on the entire community. I'm not sure, but you would have obviously heard about the Enrons and the WorldComs 2 decades back. The largest corporations in the world, and they fell down. Just on one single day, all of them came crashing down. You know what? I thought that maybe this is a time that people across the world would stand up and look at auditors. And of course, they looked at auditors. They actually let the people who did the job go away scot-free, but the firm was killed. I'm not saying good or bad, but the firm was killed. So they definitely looked at the auditors. Then the government started putting a lot of controls. Then came a time where the economy started falling. So, the largest banks started falling, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, XR, you name it, and AIG, you name it, and these kind of large corporations started failing. I thought now is the time for auditors to get up. What happened the first time? Somebody brought in Sarbanes-Oxley. Controls were defined specifically. Like a kid, you needed to go through the testing processes. Now, next time when the corporations fell, the impact was trillions of dollars, economy started to get shuttered down, so the government started to acquire businesses, and they even started to micromanage the controls now. They said you have to file another 50 forms. I'm sure all of this has been heard here about Satyam. Have you gone through Companies Act 2013?
Yes.
The Companies Act 2013 unfortunately tells an auditor how to behave, it tells a director how to behave, and so forth. And you now have the IFC as well, right? Internal Financial Control. I don't even know what an internal financial control means. I have always learned internal controls, right? So suddenly I don't know what the internal financial control means, or internal financial controls on financial reporting. What does that even mean? What I'm trying to impress upon you is that the governments have started to take away your jobs. Why? Because suddenly there is a feeling that it is not living up to expectation. So let me try and make it so granular, and let me make you busy with only filing returns and nothing else. And this is typically what is happening today. So while the government is trying to do this, and it is trying to create a web of controls, I believe that in the near future, probably, this web of controls is actually going to come down. It's a little cynical, but I've started to believe somewhere that maybe the cash system of accounting was better than the accrual system of accounting. Right? We all started with cash system, hundreds of years back also businesses used to happen. Now because I'm here, I would like to show you a very small clip for the next 5 minutes, which talks about principles, and this has kind of really cleared my mind. And then let me get on to, probably technology. Just give me a minute. Oh, it's coming. I'm sorry, some of you might have probably seen this, but
Because you see, you have standardization, obsessed with standardization, but हमारा क्या स्वादानुसार है? तो एक स्वाद है द्वापर युग का, एक स्वाद है त्रेता युग का. So one is for the Treta Yuga, which is an earlier, more innocent age, and a later phase in the organization, which is darker, which is slightly more corrupt.
Okay.
Now, if I have to do the principle of dharma again, just to revise, you have got zero, plus, minus, zero, animal instinct.
Right.
This is exploitation, this is empathy.
Right.
Dharma is here, adharma is here.
Right.
Now let's do a simple 2x2 matrix to understand the Ramayana Mahabharata. So you have rules on one side.
Right.
Rules are followed, rules are not followed.
Okay.
Then we have the principle on the other side, dharma. Dharma is upheld, dharma is not upheld.
Right.
Now look at the Ramayana. In Ramayana, dharma is upheld and rules are upheld at the same time. So you have Ram. So rules and dharma are aligned. Everything is about the other. Everything is about the other. Everything is about the other.
Even at the cost of oneself.
Even at the cost of oneself.
Almost always at the cost of oneself in the case of...
Almost always.
Yes.
So it's misery in the forest, misery in the palace.
Got it.
His opposite is the great alpha male, which somehow people seem to like today. Tells you about times, is Ravana.
No dharma, no rules.
No rules, no dharma. Your wife is my wife. I'm an animal. Even my son dies, I will not let go of my little toy. My brothers die, I will not let go of my little toy. That's Ravana. Now look at the same thing. Rules are broken. bending and Krishna always bending the rules, breaking the rules, but the principle is intact. It's always for the other. Now let's look at the most favorite character, Duryodhana. He never breaks the rule.
But he's constantly violating the principle.
He is constantly violating the principle. He is holding the letter of the law, never the spirit of the law.
Okay.
This is the spirit. This is the letter. This is the belief. This is the behavior. The pretender.
Where does Yudhishthir fit in all of this?
Yudhishthira is someone struggling to be Ram. He moves from here to here. This is the journey of Yudhishthira. With the help of Krishna. You see, his honesty is about rules. He's not realizing it's not about rules, it's about principles.
Right.
Mahabharata is the story of focus on the principle. You see, so when a woman is being disrobed, everybody is discussing legal matters. Is it okay or not okay to disrobe her? I mean, grow up. This is Bhishma and Drona watching a woman being disrobed, and they are supposed to be very educated people, and they are not doing anything.
This brings me to a very interesting issue. You said that the Ramayana comes from an older age, an age of more innocence. The Mahabharata comes from a darker age.
Yes. It's a more mature organization. This is a very early phase organization. Just tasted success. Everything is right. Market is right.
And the principles have just been created.
So it's exciting and new. People are not smart enough to subvert it yet.
Right. Here, in this
Mature
stage, you've
organization.
gone from principle to now a slightly more rule-focused organization.
The principles have been forgotten. Rules have become more important. So it's bureaucratic. Highly bureaucratic. Letter of the law. The spirit of the law is not there. Like any bureaucracy. All the rules are held, but people still don't have food. So the principle is forgotten. The woman is disrobed, but nobody is arrested.
I thought it was very important for us to delve on the principles here, and it's so interesting for chartered accountants, you know. So what I'm actually trying to arrive at is that the rule-making business of the government, trying to get to the nitty-gritty, file 2,000 reports, somewhere maybe in the next 10 years, maybe in the next 20 years, this has to be undone. You cannot run organizations with only rules, you have to run it with principles. And most of the time, if you would see the startup companies succeeding in beating larger corporations, it is because they work on the principles, they're agile, and they're not bureaucratic. So I believe that this is important for us to probably keep in our mind. And let me now, I've kind of given you a background of where our auditing, where our rules, etc. are going from a government perspective. Let me now try and take you to the dynamics of the business. I'm not sure if you're aware, but banking is no longer a branch business. What business is it? Is banking a branch business? It's a post office business. I really like the term. I would probably like to use it next time. But you're absolutely right. Banking, maybe it's an internet business. I don't know. Is it a digital business? I heard that SBI here has invested a lot of money, especially in Kolkata, to try and make the branch digital. I was walking on the streets of Paddington in London, and on a central square, I just walked in, and there was a large LED screen. I happened to touch that and said, "Good morning, Mr. Bhandari, can I help you? Barclays Bank here." Now, this is where it is going. But is this the only place where it is going? Telecommunication companies are becoming larger than banks. So I'm sure you would have heard this example before. Safaricom in Africa is larger than 3 banks put together. So that is what a banking business is all about. Airline business used to be great business for travel agents, right? But today, are we calling upon our travel agents to book our airline tickets? Maybe not. We're using apps and technology to do that. But would airline continue to remain to be a great business? Who's the competition? Competition is probably Geo, 4G, right? We as a company do 80% of our audits in Africa only on video conferencing. The first year we traveled, the next year out of the 40 man days we traveled only for 7 man days. So the kind of money that we've saved on airlines. So 4G teleconferencing is becoming a competition and not low cost airlines. I'm sure Kolkata is a community where broking is definitely understood very well. Share market is very understood very well. Is share market and broking business a commission business any longer? Is it a commission game? What game is it? What game is broking? It's a technology game. What have brokers done? They have created large technology platforms and they don't even charge you 0.03% of the trade. Right? ICICI, Webtrade.com, whatever, Reliance, all of them have put up large technology platforms. The dynamics of the broking business in the last 15 years is completely undergone a change. And I will come to a point why I'm talking about all of this, especially to an auditor. Tell me, how does tourism work today? How does tourism work today? Anybody who has recently traveled abroad on a family trip? What do you normally do? Today, tourism has actually become an aggregation business. So you go to Make My Trip, or even if you go to Thomas Cook, for example. Thomas Cook does not have hands and legs maybe in Australia. The hands and legs of Australia are small tour companies. They have only become an aggregator. Any of these websites that you go to, right? They will aggregate the demand and they will distribute it when you go to a local location. Now this is something that I'm sure all of you must have felt. I thought taxis were real business. You know, you used to get down, it used to take you from the airport, it used to take home. Is taxi any longer a real business? Does taxi companies even have assets? It has become a business of convenience. It is a business of when I want it, where I want it. I always thought food was at least a real business. You could smell it, taste it, come back and say that I had really wonderful food in this restaurant. Is food any longer a real business? I was in Japan and unfortunately I'm a vegetarian, right? And even for a non-vegetarian in Japan, especially coming out of India, you can't really eat the non-vegetarian that they make and how they cook, right? What is it that you would want to find the best? Any vegetarian restaurant, but probably closer to me. Why? Because if I travel 10 kilometers in Japan, it's going to cost me 5,000 bucks. So even before I've had my food, I've spent 5,000 rupees traveling to location B. So that has again become a convenience. What I want, where I want, when I want it. I was at a conference last year in March, again when I had gone to London, and this was a very interesting, and maybe you've heard this example. This was an investors conference. The CEO of the Hilton Hotel walked up to the podium and said very nicely to investors, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really happy to let you know that Hilton is going to build up 3,000 rooms in the next 3 years. How many rooms? 3,000 rooms. To create an asset which has got more than 500, 600 rooms is really a challenge to create a property. And everybody clapped. When he came down, there was a young gentleman who walked up to the podium and he gave a very smirky smile and said, look, I don't want to be disrespectful to the CEO of the Hilton Hotel, but we are going to build up 3,000 rooms, acquire 3,000 rooms in 3 weeks. I'm sure by now you would know who I'm talking about. It is the CEO of Airbnb, right? Look at the speed. 3,000 rooms in 3 years and 3,000 rooms in just 3 weeks. Sure, please, you would like to come up? Yeah, please come.
Sorry for the interruption, but we would love to know that CMD Bandhan Bank, Mr. Chandrasekhar Ghosh is with us. A big round of applause for him. And as I said that he promised me that he would come for a while and he would say a few words. And we from the CA fraternity, we are indebted for his support. I mean, personally, I keep on getting support from him, and as an institute, I mean, we also keep on giving him the right input at the right time. So with this, a big round of applause for him. I would just request Mr. Ghosh to say a few words. Just although it is unplanned, I wanted to have a small interaction with him. Sir, please.
What I say that. Thank you to all of you, and thank you Anil Bhandari and Indian chartered accounting institution to give this opportunity to introduce the very large number of people. Those are very renowned in the industry, and also some of you have been growing up as a startup, and it is in one of the best the vision of the current government, and all the bank will be the part of that. And of course, next point is here is in NESCOM is in also jointly organizing this conference. They are contributing for the IT sector is very good. So digital, what I reading this to the vendor, this is very much emerging point and issue for the country, especially in the banking industry. So that is the bank also trying on that, how you can use the digital platform to transact your money without going to the any of the bank branch. So you know that the new one has come on that, the UPI, which is introducing very soon on that. We are also trying to introduce it, and it can be helped to the people on that from your mobile. Without entering to the any bank which you have not any account on that, but you have the mobile, you have that UPI apps. From that apps maybe built up by the X bank, and you have the account in the Y bank. You have not any account in the X bank, but you can use the platform of that the mobile UPI system and transact from the Y bank to anywhere of your any bank on that. So it is coming as a very big way in future. So that is the all bank now focusing on that, this type of digitization, how it can be helped on that. And the next point on that, you know that we are from microfinance institution. We are not that much of the digital platform, and that was. But when we have been bank on that, we say that without the IT, without digitization, it's not possible in a second I can be run the bank. So that it is a big demand of the IT professional to come to the banking industry. If you say that the whole number of people are working in a bank in a head office level, maybe 400 people, out of that the more than 100 people is in IT skill is required to the bank. And it is, if you come to the specific in the geography of the eastern region, it is lack of. We are taking people from Bombay, from Bangalore, from Chennai, but that types of skill is not available in the Kolkata and eastern region. So I'll be happy on that if NESCOM and the Chartered Accounting Institution, if they can be coming together to build up some of the IT skill which is need for the banking industry, which can be helped to the Bandhan Bank and for other bank also, or those have the headquarters here or not headquarters there. They are also trying to build up some of the in other sense they say that the CPU, Central Processing Unit, and Central Processing Unit, data center. It is not in a very much habituate in Calcutta level. So there is a big opportunities for the industry level in Bengal. If we can be developed some of the skill of IT, not only the high technology on that medium type and the also other some specific skill. So we have the big opportunities of get the job in Bengal. So that is my request to all of you. You can continue on that. So if something is need from Bandhan Bank, I will be like to happy. I hope that all of you already opened your account to the Bandhan Bank. Thank you.
I mean, what I call it a spirited speech. He was there in CIA program just next to this door, and he was running a panel discussion for more than an hour. But again, he came and he has just, made it for us. And we really, acknowledge his contribution to the society. the way he has fought and the way he has created the brand of Bengal, Bandhan. And I am sure, sir, I can give you that assurance that from the entire CA fraternity, if you feel that you need a help from the Chartered Accountants of Eastern India, we all are there to support you. And as and when you feel so, that please do let us know. Chartered Accountants of Eastern India can support Bandhan as well for any endeavor. So a big round of applause for him as well. And now I request Anil Bhandari, who had to bear a small pain, to please, give a small memento and flower bouquet to Mr. Ghosh.
Finally, I say that the chartered account played a big role in the financial industry. And financial industry in India, so now you know that very situation is not very much is a comfortable on that. A lot of challenge in the banking industry is facing on that, the NPA part of that. I hope that you are the key personality and key role playing on that. Banking industry should become out from this type of challenges on that. So I honor all of you on that, and again say that open the account with us.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir. So, just wanted to quickly recap the dynamics of business. I guess banking is no longer a banking business. Airlines would probably no longer be an airline business. Broking is no longer a broking business. Broking actually is supposed to be commissions. Tourism works differently. Taxis work differently. Restaurants have started working differently. Interestingly, even hotels, which have got the largest possible assets, have completely changed the way that they operate. It has become an era of consolidation and aggregation. And in capital letters, I would want to impress upon you, the terminology aggregation has become very, very important. And I would also come to a point in my discussion, maybe you may not even see banks tomorrow. So I'll reserve that going forward, but I didn't want to say that in front of maybe Bandhan Bank. But believe me, this is a time that would probably happen in the next 10 or 20 years. Now, this is all known to you. Why am I trying to talk to you about controls, government trying to take away your work, and I'm sure the responsibility of maintaining the NPAs is also of chartered accountants. Maybe tomorrow the responsibility of maintaining the capitalization in the stock market would also be of chartered accountants. It's pretty interesting. If businesses are so dynamic, what does it mean for the auditors? Let me ask you a few questions. You've been all bank auditors, right? How many of us do bank audits here? Large number of us. Where do banks make money from? Where do banks make money from? Deposit, CASA, yes. Net interest margin. Anything else? Interestingly, if you look at the balance sheet of all the banks, and if you're statutory auditors, I'm sure you would be looking at it, banks no longer make money from interest income. Banks no longer make money from interest income. The three most important factors that the bank actually make money is, of course, the CASA, because they get it very, very cheap, but treasury and fee income. If you look at the balance sheets of the banks who have really done well in the last 1 or 2 years, you would find that the treasury income is good and the fee income is good. Let me try and extrapolate this and ask you, how do telecommunication companies make money from? Sure? Data. So it was voice. Had I asked you a year back, you would have said voice. Voice, everybody wants to give it free to you. Look at the business model, right? So people are saying it's data. What if I tell you that the telecommunication companies in the next 10 years would give data free to you? They would probably make money from payments. All telco companies have actually gone for payment licenses. So they would eventually make money charging you a fee for doing large payment transactions. If I were to ask you, how do airline companies make money from? Sorry? Baggage, cargo, flying people from A to B? No, they don't make money from that. You know, airline companies, interestingly, world over, except for 2 or 3 of them, are all perpetually in a loss. I don't even know why people fly airlines, right? Except for Vijay Mallya, I don't know how he lost money and made money. But airline companies actually make money from trading airplanes. You would have heard so many times that Indigo has ordered 100 aircrafts in the next 3 years or 4 years or 5 years. Does he need 100 aircrafts? Maybe not. You know, my father used to always buy every quarter a Bajaj scooter.